Hi, I'm Jeff Phillips, and in this tutorial I'll be looking at using a graphing program to obtain a graph, then taking that into Inkscape and modifying it there or tracing it. Of course, you could just take a screen dump and paste it straight into Inkscape, but by tracing it in Inkscape you can reduce the amount of memory required and you have more flexibility with what you can do with the graph, but you'll see what I mean when we get going. So here I'm using Graphe. You can use any graphing program and just do a print screen, but I'll actually copy it using this menu. Copy as meta file, but it doesn't really matter how you copy it. Then I'll go into Inkscape. I'll just zoom in, mouse wheel, scroll, zoom in, and Control V to paste it in. If I mouse wheel out, you can see that's quite a big graph. Now, if you're happy with that, that's fine. You could shrink that down and just use it in Inkscape, but I prefer to just use a limited set of points rather than all this memory consuming detail here. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit on the actual function part. I'm going to use the Bezier pen tool here, click on that, and then I'm going to click on extremities and turning points, and I can modify it if I miss, but I might turn off the snapping there. Then I'll just click here, then this turning point about here, click, and this turning point, and this extremity. Once I've got to the end, I'll press enter. That puts in a zigzaggy line. I'll shift click on the blue to change it to blue, and under the fill and stroke menu under stroke style, I might bump that up to about 0.7 or so, and click the selection tool and click off screen. You can see there's my approximation to the function. Now if I click on the blue zigzag and then N for node tool, these nodes come up. I'm going to control click this one, that turns into a smooth node. Likewise here and likewise there. You see that's getting a lot closer. Now if I zoom in and click on this particular node, it's not really at the turning point there, so I'm just going to, it probably is on the red graph, so I'll leave it there, but I'm going to modify these handles and move them to horizontal. Don't worry if the graph goes a bit off. I'll click on this one and make that horizontal. You can see the handles there. Over here, this one, and make it horizontal. Now if I go back to the original one, original point, if I drag this handle out, it will match up the graph a lot more closely. Not quite horizontal there, so I'll move that up a bit. Sometimes a bit of back and forwards movement. Over here, I might bring this one in. No, leave it as it is. Try this one. Just a bit of experimenting. Didn't really change much. Try this one, and maybe if I drag that back, hold down Control constrains it to horizontal movement, and this one, that's getting pretty good. If I zoom out, you can see I've got a pretty good approximation of the function, but I can get a little bit better, and I'll try to do that now. I'll click on this one again, and maybe if I Control drag, no. Sometimes if you can't get it by the gradient handles, it's the point that has to be moved itself. So perhaps the turning point is about there on the red graph. Now I drag it out. That looks a bit better. Perhaps drag this one in a bit. You see I'm matching up pretty closely now. Likewise over here. Perhaps I drag this, whoops, Control Z if you get some unexpected results. The turning point looks like it's about there. And now I drag the handle control, drag it perhaps out there. This one control drag out there, you can see that's getting a lot better. And then down here, maybe if I click this turning point, just drag it up a bit, but that moves it off here, so I'll click this handle, control drag it back down a bit. And this one, control a bit to the right. And I'll zoom out. It's pretty good, although up here I've gone off a bit. So if I click this one, see, yeah, it might be that I have to move a point. Perhaps let's try clicking that point. That looks a bit better. Lights on, off at the top there. Maybe drag it back a bit. Start again. Maybe this one in a bit. Yeah, look, that's pretty good. You can go forever, but maybe this one is a bit of a compromise. And if I click the selection tool, and I'll just click on this original, I'll see if, yeah, there's the blue one. I'll move that out of the way and click that one and delete it. You can drag over the axis you don't want. I prefer to redraw my axes in Inkscape, but there you can see I've got the function itself. If I zoom in to an incredible amount, you can see it's dead sharp all the way. That's not always the case when you bring in graphics from other programs. So that's one way of reducing the memory required for the Inkscape file as well, because if you click on that, then the N for node tool, you can see it's only really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points rather than thousands which come in with the original graphic. So hope that helps. Just shows you how you can use the Bezier pen tool and the node manipulation tool to get a smooth graph by tracing a bitmap that's brought in from a graphing program. Once again, thanks for watching.